Last week, I showed you guys this bag, the Coach Ryder. This is the Satchel version, and I was surprised at how many incredibly positive comments I got on this bag, how you guys loved it, and how a lot of you had never even heard of it before, which shocked me a bit because I thought this was a very well-known bag from Coach. Well, today, I have another bag to open up and show you. This is also from Coach, and I hadn't planned on doing this bag today, but it has quite a few similarities with the Ryder bag. So I thought this would be a good time to share this bag with you because a lot of you were saying you might go out and look for the Ryder bag. So I think you will really want to know about this one too. So stay tuned. And welcome, I'm Autumn Beckman and I'm here to help you live your most luxurious life within your budget. I post new videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so please make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of those, and so you don't miss my daily community posts where I share the best sales of the day and fabulous handbags that I find. Also, don't miss my website, autumnbeckman.com. The shop page is where you'll find handbags and accessories that I have for sale, as well as the My Handbag Collection Organizer, which are planner pages that I've designed to help you organize your handbags and your life. The item tracker is the heart of the planner. This is where you can record everything you'd want to know about your handbags and small goods. There are also group tracking pages, shipment trackers, sales associate contact info pages, plus calendar pages in a variety of formats so you can pick what works best for you. Lots of different habit trackers and so much more. Let's jump right into this bag. I got it a while back now. This was not a recent purchase from the Real. And if you're comparing this bag to the Ryder, and I will do a side-by-side comparison of the two, this bag is considered more high-end for Coach, and it's also harder to find, and it will likely be more expensive than the Ryder bag on the Preloved market. This bag, like the Ryder, was designed by Stuart Vevers, who is the current creative director at Coach, and the Ryder was introduced in 2014. This bag was introduced in 2016, and it is the Coach Rogue Satchel. I'm gonna get this guy stuffed so it looks better. There we go, done. I'm gonna bring it closer. But this is the Rogue Satchel, which is a variation on the Rogue. The Rogue was introduced in 2016, and I believe this bag was as well. We will check the tag on the inside to be sure. So here is the front, and then here is the side. Now it's a little crumpled because it's been squished. Here's the back. This leather is so soft. And the other side, and the base. So we do have feet, and let's see what this text says. That is genuine glove-tanned pebble leather. And this particular version has gunmetal hardware. On one of the tabs here, right there where my thumb is, it says 1941 debossed into the leather. And on the other side of the bag, if you lift up that bottom flap, it has that little emblem. In the X, it says 1941, and then it has a picture of a little cowhide there. You may have noticed that my bag has some whip stitching, so it's got black leather, but then the smooth burgundy leather here with the tie on the end. And I don't know if that's actually called whip stitching the way this is done, so let me know if you know different. At the ends of these little pieces of leather are 3 tiny gunmetal studs on each end. They're not on the back, they're only on one side. And my bag is missing the hang tag, but it would have had a 1941 hang tag. It does have this clochette, which is attached by a piece of smooth black leather that's knotted here to keep it in place. And if you've never seen one of these Coach clochettes, which were put on the earlier versions of the Coach Rogue bags, it has this little turn lock on the end. When you open that up and open the flap and look inside, there is, hard to see, but there is absolutely nothing in there. I don't know what the purpose of these little clochettes are other than decoration. They are not meant to hold keys because there is no key for this bag. Just like on every Rogue, you have those hard Rogue handles, and you have that wide leather around the zipper that goes all the way around to the bottom. It curves like that. The Rogue Satchel, just like the Rogue, has pockets on the front and the back. They are wide, they go all the way from side to side, and then it has that big compartment in the middle. So on this one, we have a leather suede interior inside those pockets. It has 2 Coach zipper pulls that say Coach 1941. Oh, I just found something. Look at this. It does have the hang tag. Yay! I'm excited about that because like I said, I got this bag a while ago and I forgot what it came with. That was tucked inside the pocket. Fantastic. So this is the full set, although it doesn't have the dust bag, but it's the full bag. So there's a look at the hang tag. It's black. It has the gunmetal hardware, and on the back it's the oxblood color. Also has the 2 studs at the bottom of each handle, and those are debossed Coach twice on each stud. And this one has that contrasting yellow stitching. On the back side of this bag, you'll see that there are 2 D-rings on either side. Nothing on the front, just on the back. That is where the shoulder strap attaches. I will put that on in just a minute. But first, let's look inside this bag. So you can keep those zippers in the middle like I just had them, or you can put them both on one side and just have one zipper to unzip. And now let me get all that stuffing out that I just put in. Here we go. The interior of this bag is that yellow suede, same as inside the pockets. You can see on one side, it has the Coach Kiss Lock pocket. Now on this little brown leather tab, it's debossed 1941. When you open that up, you have that textile lining, which we've come to know is in the Coach Rogue bags. And of course, this Kiss Lock comes from Bonnie Cashin bags. That was early Coach, 1960s and 70s. And then on the other side, you have the zipped pocket and the Creed. Inside the zipped pocket, you have that same textile lining. And here's the Creed. And if you look at the registration number on the bottom, and if you're familiar with Coach registration numbers, you're going to notice something a little different. It says NO for number, and then it says RS. You usually have a letter, a number, and then another letter, which is the month that it's made, the year that it's made, and the country that it's made. And then there's a dash and a string of numbers. That string of numbers is the style number for the bag. So this style number is 20216. But this, before the dash, says RS. That stands for Rogue Satchel. There were a few bags around this time that had letters that represented the name of the bag rather than the date and location. So how do you know the date and location? Well, if you go back into this pocket, and you dig deep into the corner, you will find a little white tag. And my Ryder bag has this too. I forgot to show it to you in that video. And this is where you find the date and location code and the specific style number for this particular version of the Rogue Satchel. So this says H1673. H is the 8th letter in the alphabet, which means this bag was made in August. 16 would be the year, 2016. 73 would be the country code, and I'm not sure where that is. The code for this bag, the black bag with that burgundy or oxblood whip stitching, is 58118. A lot of people don't know about those little tags, so you're more likely to find these using that other style number, the 20216, when you're looking on the Preloved market. And I would also point out on the interior of this bag, not only does that zipper go down all the way to the side, but you also have this extra piece of gusseted leather here to help keep your things from falling out. So that is a really nice detail. Plus, on this side, attached to that leather, you have this piece of leather, which has the snap hook on the end, so you could attach your keys or something else that you want to be able to find quickly. I want to do a couple of comparisons with this bag. First, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Coach Ruby, which is a more recent bag. So here's a picture of the Ruby because I don't have one, just so you can see these side by side a little bit and compare some of the differences. And of course, the Rowan Satchel, it's another satchel from Coach, that is an outlet bag. All the other ones that I'm showing you are retail bags. And the 1941 line, this and the Ryder that I'm about to show you, these are runway bags. Oh, but before we look at the other bags, let's look at the strap. So here's the strap on this bag. You have a little shoulder pad there. Not really padded, but just an extra wide piece of leather since the strap is so thin. There are 7 adjustments for that buckle and snap hooks to connect that to the bag. And since both of those D-rings are only on one side, like I showed you, when you let go, it is going to tilt forward a little bit. But when it's up against your body, it will sit pretty straight. Here it is on the shortest length. This is a great length just to wear as a shoulder bag, and that's pretty comfortable with that wider piece of leather on the shoulder. So that sits just like this. And there is a little leather strap keeper on the bottom to keep the end of this strap from just flapping around. And then here it is on the longest length, so that's quite a difference. On the shoulder, that would hang a bit too low for me. The top of the bag is down here. Let's see how this works cross-body. That, for me, works pretty well, I think. Top of the bag is right here. It does stick out a bit. I'll give you dimensions so you have an idea of that. But when you need to be totally hands-free and not worrying about the bag falling off your shoulder, that's a great option. This bag measures 11 inches across the bottom, about 7.5 inches high, and about 6.5 inches deep. So that is kind of far away from the body. But because of that, it's got a great capacity. It's going to hold a lot, and I love that it has that front and back pocket. It's a really easy options to put your phone. Here it is next to the Louis Vuitton Speedy 30. So those are very, very similar in size. Here are the bases. It's a great way to compare the size of bags. And here it is next to the Ryder Satchel. So these are very comparable as well. Here is the front, and then here is the side. And here are the bases of these two bags. This is the Rogue and this is the Ryder. Now I won't do an in-depth comparison of these two right now because I just did an in-depth look at this bag and I did one on this bag last week, which will be linked in the description box below. But they do have a lot in common. There are also quite a few differences. I would say holding them, the biggest difference is the structure and the weight. The Ryder bag, this particular one anyway, is a lot lighter weight than the Coach Rogue, which has a lot more leather on it. And it has thicker leather, plus the suede inside. The Ryder is a thinner, much more supple, soft, squishy leather. So here, well, it's stuffed, but it squishes, trust me. Whereas the Coach Rogue Satchel is more structured for sure. I wouldn't say it's a super structured bag. I mean, you saw how squishy it was when I pulled it out of the box, but it's not as squishy as the Ryder. And I think that the Ryder is a lot more comfortable to carry because the handles are softer. I've always found the Coach Rogue handles a bit uncomfortable, which is why I'm really glad this has a shoulder and crossbody strap. Plus, like I said, the Ryder will be much easier to find on the Preloved market and it will be quite a bit cheaper. Whereas the Rogue Satchel is a bit more difficult to find. They can get pretty expensive. However, they are both fabulous bags. They both have a lot of capacity. I did a little bit of a what fits on the Ryder in the last video. Since they're so similar, I won't go in depth on what fits in this bag. And since it's so similar to the Louis Vuitton Speedy, and a lot of you know what fits in that bag, I can tell you from looking at it that it will not fit a laptop or a full-size iPad, but it would definitely fit the iPad mini or a Kindle. It's going to fit any wallet, just about any pouch. It would fit a lot of water bottles if they're laying down. And since that zipper goes down the side, you're able to open it very wide. So you have a big mouth to be able to get stuff in and out and find things easily. There's also good organization with those two pockets on the back, the zip pocket inside, and then that little kisslap pocket on one wall. And both bags have feet, which is very nice. And in these colors, and especially with the what I'm calling the whip stitching on the Rogue bag, both of these have that cool biker vibe feeling too that I talked about with the Ryder. So all of those things that they have in common is why I wanted to show you this bag today and show these two together, because gosh, I guess I just wanted to make your decisions more difficult. I will be doing a more in-depth look at the Rogue collection at some point, probably when I get to the runway show where the Rogues were introduced, which is going to be a couple months from now since I'm going in chronological order. They were introduced in 2016 and we just did 2014. So about 3 or 4 months from now is when we'll get back to the Rogues, since I'm only doing one of those per month. So stay tuned for that. Do you have a Rogue satchel or any other variations of the more traditional classic Rogue bag? Do you want one? Is there a special one that you've had your eye on? Let me know please in the comments section below. And while you're down there, remember to check out the description box with a link to the Ryder video in case you missed that, and the video about the runway show where the Ryder was introduced in case you missed that. And you can check out my website for handbags and accessories and the planner pages that I have for sale. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope to see you back here next time, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.